Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here to discuss team selection ahead of Matchday 7 in UCL Fantasy. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. So the winter break is now effectively over for the Champions League, and we've now got two final rounds of this league phase before the knockouts commence. I'm going to give a quick rundown with my team and how it went for Matchday 6, a quick look at my bus team, a look at the Champions League table as it stands, and also what my two transfers will be. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So match day 6, I decided to use my limitless chip. Thankfully, it worked to a T in many respects. Captaincy massively helped with Saka on the second day. Had Mohamed Salah fairly, wouldn't say stacked team as a whole, bit of balance all around. Disappointed that Atletico Madrid couldn't keep the clean sheet in a very favourable fixture, but had Alvarez, so got bailed out with an attacking return there. And yeah, didn't have Bellingham in my actual team. Brought him in, Musiala, Mohamed Salah, Saliba, Hakimi, Alexander Arnold. Worked all around across the board. Verts, Kim, Gyökeres, Martinez, nothing from them. So 113 points, well above the average. And as you can see with the trajectory of my UCL fantasy points, just a point off the 500 point mark. So fairly happy with that. Yeah, match day 2 set me back. I keep on saying it time and time again. I wish that went significantly better. Otherwise, beyond that, I've used my wild card, I've used my limitless chip, and all steam ahead now with the remaining 2 rounds. So that's how how the team was in match day 6. And in terms of how the bus team is set up as well, so for match day 7, still got Gyökeres with that favourable fixture. Haaland against PSG. Of course, Haaland's form was like completely all over the shop throughout the winter. He's finally picked up pace once again. Harry Kane, fairly standard pick there. Pulisic, who's been somewhat of a revelation in UCL Fantasy this season. Got Verts, who just is a must-have with his consistent returns. Lookman as well, who's proved to be a very good pick in UCL Fantasy. And Foden, who ironically had a really poor start to the Premier League, but was doing really well in the Champions League. So I had him from the get-go, and finally he's picking up steam in the Champions League as well. So glad I've got him already in the team. Rico Lewis, who I'm going to come on to in a moment, somewhat of a rotation risk now. Got Theo Hernandez, had him for the attacking prowess, but it's really been disappointing for the time I've had him. So hopefully he'll get some traction as well. And then Emre Can in there as well. Didn't pick him for the earlier hauls, so hopefully he can get me something in the remaining 2 games. And then the goalkeeping combo of Mainen and Karnaseki, and then I'd say a fairly weak bench of Luka Dean and Ristovski. Annoyingly, when I bench Dean, he starts and keeps clean sheets, and then when I start him, he doesn't keep a clean sheet or doesn't start. And then Tillman, he was actually a 1-week punt for my team, got a healthy number of points, 17, and then yeah, as a whole, can't complain with how it went. Of course, I didn't really have him on the free hit, but he's now suspended for the next match. So that's something that I'm going to have to address. So looking at the Champions League table as it stands of this league phase, this will heavily influence the direction of travel that I'm going to have with my picks. Of course, with the knockout stages, you effectively get unlimited transfers. So that's something going to be heavily weighted on my transfers, and rotation is going to come into the mix as well for many of these teams. Like Liverpool at the top, didn't have any Liverpool players apart from the free hit limitless chip that I had in UCL Fantasy. So I think if they beat Lille in the next match, I think they're going to heavily rotate in that final match. Got Barcelona almost effectively through as well to the next phase. Just need to win the next match. And then you've got this really tight train of teams from 3rd place Arsenal to all the way to, let's say, 12th place AC Milan. 1 point separates all of those teams. So these are must-win matches for them. The likes of Arsenal, Bayer Leverkusen, Aston Villa, Inter Milan, Brest, Lille, Dortmund, Bayern Munich, and Madrid. And got AC Milan as well there. You could say Atalanta, Juve in the mix. Really need to win their remaining 2 matches to stand a chance. And then you could say that perhaps the likes of Benfica and Monaco might be too much of a push for them to potentially secure that 8th final spot. But of course, you've got this other grouping here from 9th to 24th, and then all the way down 25th to 36th is the final grouping of teams. You can see that Young Boys, Slovan Bratislava, Leipzig, well out of it. So again, you can see there's teams here to be targeted, and at the same time, there are teams who, I mean, Real Madrid at 20th. That just seems like crazy that they're that low down. Even if they won the next 2 matches, it simply isn't going to be enough potentially for them. So again, it's food for thought there. So that will influence the way I'm going to go with my picks. So in terms of transfers, actually, the 2 players have got 2 free transfers, and I'm going to use them both. Tillman is suspended, so I will be getting rid of him. And the other player that I'm looking to remove would probably be Rico Lewis, I'd say, just due to the rotation issues. He'll probably start against PSG, but just with Man City and clean sheets, it's been a bit problematic, albeit they kept a clean sheet against Ipswich on Sunday. So yeah, I want a good mix of players playing on both days. Of course, Karnaseki and Minan got the rotation there. So only got mix of dates there in defence, reasonable mix in midfield already, but all of my strikers play on the second day. So just with that table in mind, in fact the players in mind, just bring up Rico Lewis first of all here. You can see that literally he's not been picking up minutes in his last 3 competitive games. And then Malik Tillman, who, yeah, he's a regular start for PSV, but suspended for this fixture. So gonna get rid of him. But I'm gonna sell Tillman, gonna sell Rico Lewis. And the players that really come to mind first of all, in terms of midfield options, if I sort it by percentage, Rafinha is a big miss for my team. So I think it makes sense for me to consider him as an option. And just looking at Rafinha's stats as well, been relatively consistent with his returns this season, albeit there was that period in late December and early Jan where he wasn't getting much, but 3 goals and an assist in his last 3 games in a must-win match for Barcelona. I think it makes sense for me to draft him in just due to the percentage alone. Haven't got Mohamed Salah in my team, who obviously, if I sort by if I sort it by price overall, he is a big miss. There he is at 35%. Yamal, not going to pick him at 7.4 million. I just feel Rafinha has that extra edge, as it were. So I can't just go differential in this price point and in this position. So I think Rafinha is a lock for me. And then the other player that I'm going to go to now in that defensive slot, just looking at the options, defense, 4.4 million. Sort it by percentage, there really aren't that many options to choose from. And I need a defender who is going to start the next 2 matches with the clean sheet prowess, essentially. Got really the options. Araujo, not going to really consider him at all. There aren't many of the obvious picks as there were. So just going all the way down, he's not really showing up here. So I'm going to go straight to the club that I had in mind. and the reasonable fixture that I had in mind as well. Hopefully, it is reasonable on paper and in real life. It is Timber, 4.4 million. So let's confirm him in there. So just looking at his stats, you can see that, okay, Arsenal have been conceding quite a few goals of late. The last clean sheet was against Ipswich Town on the 27th of December. The key here is that Timber has been getting regular starts, had a clean sheet against Everton and Monaco as well. You could say against reasonable teams, he has been keeping clean sheets. So at 4.4 million, it's not much you can ask for him to do. So I think I'm fairly set. Exact funds for those moves. Striker wise, I think that's fairly not, if not template, I'd say that's, yeah. There's no really differentials, as it were, there. But with that midfield, got a nice mix now of high effective ownership players and differentials. Defense is fairly differential, so not much I can do about that. So let's confirm those transfers. So 2 free transfers ahead of match day 7. I'm going to confirm them now. And just going to sort this by date now. So Rafinha is playing on the 21st, so I'll sub him in. And just looking at the dates, so I will sub out Pulisic, and then Luka Dean, who I didn't really want, but I'll sub him in for Timber. So Timber will come on for the subsequent day. So let's confirm that now. So let's just do a quick super zoom in for my team selection ahead of match day 7. And I will have it on, yeah, let's have it on date. So gonna give captaincy to Rafinha. So yeah, Kane, Gyökeres, Haaland up top. So they'll remain the strikers for like basically the entire match day. No subs going on there. Rafinha, Lookman, Wirtz, Chan, Dean, and Karnaseki as the first day players. First day as in Tuesday players. And then Minan, Timber, Ristovski, Pulisic to be subbed on in the event the players from the day before don't do well. So there you have it. That is my confirmed team selection for match day 7. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the balance right? Have I got the balance wrong? And most importantly, how many points will this team score ahead of match day 7? As always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best.